Today we're going to be talking about measures of central tendencies, and more specifically we're going to be talking about finding the mean. So there are two formulas we need to look at. One of them is for population, and population formula means mu equals the sum of all of our data values. These are our data values. Okay, and over capital N. So this is all of the people that are in the population. Our sample, okay, is our mean. That's x bar. Okay, x bar is our mean. Equals our sum of our sample. This is our sample data values. Okay, over little n. So we have capital N and we have little n. Little n is, let's say that you walked into a Chipotle restaurant. The population is everyone in that Chipotle restaurant. The sample would be a portion of the people in that Chipotle restaurant. So let's say you surveyed all of the males in that Chipotle restaurant. All of the males would be your little n. Everyone, including males and females, would be your capital N. Alright. So rounding. And occasionally you're going to have to round, and usually round to one decimal place more than the original values. Okay. So we're going to be doing some rounding today, so you'll understand what that statement means. An example. Given a sample of student ages, so we're talking about student ages, who are taking statistics, so they're taking statistics, find the average age of students who are taking a statistics class. So we want to know the average age. Note, the population would be everyone who is taking statistics, not just from one statistics course, so we'll use the sample formula when doing the calculation. So, did you understand what that means? That means that we're looking at one sample of students in statistics. There may be 10 sections of statistics running on campus. This is just one class of them. Alright, so ages and years. So we have two tables. Table 1, okay, and Table 2. Anyone tell me the differences between these two tables? Well, the first table's values are in order. Okay, the second table is. I just went ahead and put them in order because, as you probably able to know, I just like all of my values in order from least to greatest. You don't have to do that, but it makes it easier to work with. Alright, so here we have some steps. You want to find n, how many pieces of data we're using. So remember, we're finding the sample, right? We're doing the sample. And how do we figure out if we're using population or sample? Well, based off the scenario that we're looking at one statistics course and not all of them, that would be our sample. Just like walking into Chipotle and surveying just the males in that Chipotle restaurant, that would be a sample. Okay. So to find our n, we need to figure out how many pieces of data do we have here. Well, you could just count up how many numbers you are or that you see. Alright, and you should know that you see 20 pieces of data. Okay. Then the sum of all of your x values. So how are you going to do that? You have 18, 18, 18, 19, 19, 19, and so on. What you're going to do, you're going to add up all of these numbers. Does it matter where you start? No, just as long as you don't add any extra numbers. How should you be able to know whether you've if you've added additional numbers in there? Well, you should have 20 numbers in your calculator. So when you add all these numbers up, you should get 407. Okay. So the sum of all of these numbers is 407. Now we do a little division. 407 divided by 20 is 20.35. Okay. And we're going to need to do some rounding here. So if we go back to our rounding, usually round to 1 decimal place more than the original data value. So we need 1 decimal place. Here we have 2. So we're going to look at the number next to the 1 decimal place. In this case, it would be the 5, because we want to figure out what we're going to do with this 3. This 5 is greater than 5, right? 5 or more, give it a shove. Well, so that means what are we going to do with that 3? We're going to bump it up to a 4. So this means, I'm going to put years on it. This means what? What does this 20.4 mean? This means that the average age of someone taking statistics in this particular section is 20 years old and 4 months. So it's always good to make sure that you interpret your data, or what your mean represents. So we've just looked at how to calculate the mean given a set of data. Make sure that you email me with any questions that you may have.